Every single time I go to a Casey's, like it's just for like a fountain soda or a energy drink, I am magnetically pulled to the pizza. Like I will try
Yep.
to walk away from it, but my body just goes to the pizza. I lose control of my body.
It's the crust,
Yeah.
man. What it do, listeners? It's me, Aaron. I want to eat a flamingo and gain its abilities. And you're listening to SuperPod Saga. Yes, hello, yeah, that's right. It is SuperPod Saga, and of course, yeah, it's me, Aaron, your host. Jerry is away once more. He's got back issues. He's had to bow out of both Retro Rehab and SuperPod Saga for the last couple of weeks and all that. But no, we've got a guest. We've got a guest. It'll be like the good old times, good old original flavor SuperPod Saga. We've got the man himself, Tommy from Tommy's Video Game Ride Along. Hello, Tommy.
Hello, hello. I'm happy to be here. My wife is on a date with her boss, so I've got some free time.
Whoa, that's cool. That's cool.
It's for her birthday.
Before we get to the intros, I totally forgot to intro my own show, the one people are
Yeah,
listening to right now. Yeah, for any first time
yeah.
listeners, this is the podcast where we discuss a different video game topic each week. Hey, Tommy, what are we talking about?
I got to pick the topic. So
Yeah.
the last year for me has been the discovery of JRPGs. I don't know why you never told me about them, but they're really
I know.
cool.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about our favorite JRPG mechanics, whether that's like leveling up systems or combat or whatever they because they do cool stuff. Like no one has mechanics like JRPGs.
That's true, man. Like, we'll get into all that here in a little bit because there's a lot of really
Huh,
cool shit that I wanna I
huh,
wanna shout out and talk about. But
shit.
yeah, shit. Before we get to that shit, Tommy, go ahead and plug your show for any listeners who haven't heard you before ever on,
I
on
have
this show or other shows. But yeah,
I have a podcast now. I don't have time to record like a sit down podcast like this. So I started Tommy's Video Game Ride Along, which is a podcast I record in my car while driving safely. And the whole idea is you, the listener, are in the passenger seat, and I just ramble at you about games journalism related topics, whether that be like an article that was really good or how something works or a news event. I'm I have a degree in journalism and I'm obsessed with journalism, so I spread that to you and you were forced to listen.
and it's awesome. Like I've listened to every single episode so far, like pretty much
Huh?
as soon as it comes out. And yeah, it's fun to learn about. I had before your podcast, I had no like I didn't know anything at all about video game journalism. But then you started talking about how s- like basically the video game journalism landscape is just like nothing now. It's just like people on their
Yeah.
own with their own little websites, basically being paid for by
Yeah.
like Patreon and shit like that. Um,
Yeah, there's a huge misconception, tons of misconceptions about games journalism. And I'm going to do my best to right those misconceptions.
and you're doing a hell of a job,
Thank
sir.
you.
My
Thank you.
hat is off to you. My proverbial hat, it's off.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. What where can people find your show or your
Oh,
socials or any?
gosh, man.
You know what?
It's
You can even talk about your favorite scent of candle.
I don't have a favorite scent of candle. I let my wife pick out all the candles.
Oh,
But the podcast is on Spotify and other places, but I'm not sure where because I don't do anything on the computer. I just do it all on my phone, so I'm not sure where. Like I used to combine the theme song with the episode on a phone app, but they took that away, so I just email it to Aaron and he does it for me. Um, but I'm on Twitter at Thomas underscore ranking, and my last name is spelled REINKING. And I'm on the SuperPod Network. I have a channel there, so you can ask me stuff about games journalism.
yeah, please ask him stuff. And yeah, you can hit up the SuperPod Network Discord server. It's on. Just go to superpodnetwork.com. Look for the
Uh-huh.
Discord icon on the top left or
What's
top
that look
right.
like?
Yeah, it's like a
What's that look like?
it's like a little head. Hang on, let me pull up the website. It's like a little head with eyeballs. Click on that,
Okay,
and then
like a smiley.
and then yeah, you can find Tommy's channel, Tommy's Video Game Ride Along. Yeah, you can ask him questions there. Ask him on Twitter. You can leave comments on Spotify now, which is cool. So leave him a comment on there. Yeah, it's pretty great. Pretty cool. Good job.
Or just yell really loud. I might hear you.
Tommy, the closing of Game Informer chugs balls. What do you think about it?
Sucks.
Yeah, let's get to it, man. What did you have
Yeah.
any video or any cool RPG systems, mechanics, or
JRPGs.
whatever? Yeah,
JRPGs.
JRPG.
They're different.
Was there anything that you wanted to start with?
Um, yes. Just to get I wanna go from like the most basic boring to the stuff I'm most passionate about, where I'm just gonna keep talking for an hour probably. So to start, I wanna talk about a mechanic that like we kind of all take for granted, but is actually really cool when you think about it, which I do sometimes. And it's the Pokemon typings in Pokemon, everyone's favorite JRPG.
Oh yeah,
Because like think about it, Aaron. Think about it
I'm thinking. I'm
in a
thinking.
lot of games, it's like attack your attack versus the enemy's defense, and that's the stats that go up is the attack or their defense and your own defense and stuff. But with Pokemon, they're like, what if everything had a type? And depending on that type, it could do double damage, half damage, no damage. There's dual typings. All the moves have typings, and if your type matches the attack type matches the Pokemon type, then it does 4 times damage. It just adds so much cool complexity and
Yep.
knowledge that you have to gain.
That's true. Not even just like Pokemon. Like there's a lot of other cool JRPGs that lean into elemental weaknesses and shit. Like
Yeah,
I don't know about other Final Fantasies, but I know Final Fantasy 9 delves into that quite a bit. Where like insects are weak against ice, I think, and then flying enemies are weak against wind for some reason.
of course.
Like birds are susceptible to the oh no, like the north wind. I don't know, but the Shin Megami Tensei series and like Persona, like the spin-offs and all those, like they use elemental weaknesses a lot with their combat with what's called like the press turn system, where if
Mhm,
you strike an enemy's weakness or get a critical hit, you get an extra turn. And like there's a maximum number of turns you can get though, so you can't just like keep going and going and going. It's like
sure.
you basically get one extra turn per like character in your party basically, and say if you hit an enemy with an element that's they either repel, absorb, or completely nullify, then you'll lose a turn.
It even goes into how you build your team, because I know, like, what I love doing is trying to get a total variety of, like, I want the dual typing Pokemon with, like, as many different types as possible to cover as many weaknesses as possible, and I just love building teams like that and trying to plan ahead. Then I still haven't gotten used to Fairy type. I'll never know Fairy type's weaknesses or strengths. It's just impossible at this age, you know?
I only know that fairy is weak to poison and steel. I don't know what it's
That's more than
strong
I know.
against. I
Why? Why is that the thing?
maybe because like steel swords cut fairies, and then you poison them with like too much Xanax. Oh, I'm dead. I'm a
That's
fairy. I'm
it.
dead.
That's it.
Like
That's it. What? Okay. What's on three? Let's each say what the most overrated Pokemon typing is.
oh fuck
Let me
yes. Okay,
know. You got it.
I'm
One,
ready.
two, three. Electric.
Fire,
Oh,
electrics. Yeah,
it only. Okay, so electric is like only super effective against water
and flying.
and flying. Okay, so
Yeah.
am I thinking of something else then? Am I thinking of ground? Ground type.
Um,
Ground is only super effective against rock.
rock and steel,
Dang it! What am I thinking
and
of?
I
Let
think
me bring up the
ice.
type chart. There's
I
something that's
think
only super effective against one other thing.
I think maybe flying. I
Is
think
it grass?
it. I think it is grass actually. Yeah, because grass is only strong against water.
And
No,
ground though,
no,
and
and
ground.
ground and earth, or not earth,
Shit,
rock.
what am I thinking of?
Is
Attack. I've
it?
got the type chart up right now.
And bug is strong against psychic and dark for
Poison,
some
maybe?
reason. Maybe poison. Yeah, poison is strong against grass, and that's a
That's it. I don't know what I was thinking of. There was something where I was building a team and I was like, wow, this type actually sucks. What's the it might have been grass because it has four weak like fire, grass. Grass is
grasses.
the hell I'm talking about. I'm sorry. It's been so long since I've been here and I've kind of lost my touch, I feel.
That's okay, man. There's got to be other games that use elemental weaknesses. I can't think of any other ones though.
done to the extent of Pokemon.
That's true. Yeah, Pokemon's got so many layers of complexity to it because there's also stab, the same
Yep.
type attack
Yep.
bonus, which adds an extra like 20% damage, isn't it?
I don't know.
And then yeah, moves that do like quadruple damage if your opponent's typing is weak against, or if both of your opponent's typing is weak against that move, or like uh what are they called? Nature's fucking
Oh yeah,
abilities.
abilities. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
super duper complex. Way more complex than people probably realize unless they play.
Yep. Yes, sir. What about like what's the coolest leveling system that you've come across?
You go first. I have to think.
I think one of the coolest is the sphere grid
I
in
knew
Final
it. I knew
Fantasy
that's what you
X.
were gonna say.
That's just so cool, man. People like to bitch and complain about it being so, oh, it's complex. There's so many nodes. You move one at a time. Well, I mean, first of all,
Fuck
you don't
off.
just yeah. First of all, hey, fuck you. Second of all, yeah, I mean, yeah. Once you really get into it and learn the ins and outs, and you kind of, because like after a battle, you rack up SP, I think is what it's called, or sphere points, and then once you get enough, you'll gain a sphere level, and then you can move one along the grid. But like instead of just going like, "Hey, I got a new sphere level, let's move up along the grid," like just save those shits and move 6 ways from Sunday down that goddamn grid. But
That's that's the one thing that always overwhelms me with JRPGs is these complex systems that you get introduced to and you have no idea if you're doing it right or wrong. But once you do figure them out, they're fantastic. And I've told this story before, but it's been a year now, so I'll just say it again. When you told me about the sphere grid, in my head, I was picturing a sphere, the grid on the sphere, like a normal
oh,
shaped grid, but on a sphere. So when I actually played Final Fantasy X and it was a grid of spheres, not a grid on a sphere, I was like, oh, I see. I see.
and
It is
it's
gigantic.
yeah, it's totally overwhelming, man. It's yeah, it's titanic. It's huge, but it gives you so much freedom with your characters because like each character, for those who haven't played the game, each character starts in their own little respective area for like what their, I guess, job or role is. Like Orin has a lot of moves for like dealing damage, but also reducing attack or defense or magical defense, blah blah blah. Riku has like stealing shit, and she's quick and fast. Lulu has black magic. Waka has a ball, and yeah, you can eventually just intersect characters. Like I believe Kamari pretty early on or like midway through the game, he can like intersect and kind of get a little bit of the thief job in him. He can learn like flee and a bunch of other shit that I forget at the moment, but shit like that where you can kind of mix characters into two
Yes,
different roles is just really really cool instead of having to like swap between characters all the goddamn time. It's
I
pretty cool.
agree. It's I'm very new to Final Fantasy. I played a bunch of 9 and I've forgotten a lot about what happened and what I did. But I recently got the little Anbernic device, so I played a little bit of Final Fantasy 5, and that's got the job system. Have you heard about jobs,
Here we
Aaron?
go.
You heard
I
about
mean,
jobs?
I have a job.
Me too. So I need your insight on this as well, because the Final Fantasy 5 job system, instead of and totally like interrupt me, scream at me when I say something wrong. Um, the
I
Final
will.
Fantasy 5 job system, instead of each character being the class, like the black mage, the white mage, the warrior, whatever, you get to pick who gets to be the class. You can just be like, this person, you're the black mage, this person is the fighter and stuff, right? And that was new.
Yeah,
That was new in Final Fantasy.
a little bit, yeah, because like in Final Fantasy V, you can change your class or the class
Whenever,
job or whatever. You can change it whenever. Yeah, just
anytime.
open up the menu and change it. I think Final Fantasy, like the first Final Fantasy and three, also had job systems, but
First one.
one like you made your character, like you made your party. You made your main character is like Poo Poo Doo Doo Head. Your white mage is like Dingle McCringle, and your
Mhm.
black mage is Fart Man. Then they were stuck with those jobs, and I think three. I don't remember anything at all about fucking
Sure.
three, but yeah, five. You could change classes, and that was or you could change them on the fly, and that
Yeah,
was gigantic. That's
yeah.
like
And
it's so fucking cool.
apparently you could I didn't get that far into it, but it said like you could have abilities from other jobs while you're a different job. So you could have a warrior that could do some white mage abilities and stuff. I didn't know how to do that. I didn't get that far, but that sounded really cool. And just that it was in such an old game from like
Mhm.
1993 or something that it had that complexity in it already. I was like, wow, that is impressive. The rest of the game I was not impressed with. That was cool.
Yeah, I definitely 5 doesn't have, like, the best story around, but yeah, the fucking the combat and everything else, though, it's so good. The ability to mix and match jobs bleeds into, quite a few other games, but I'll save that for what you're gonna say. You say your thing first before I
Just speaking of Final Fantasies, I've also started playing Final Fantasy 7, and I've gotten farther than I've ever
Ooh!
gotten before. I have 2 bosses, so I think I'm pretty close to the end. Obviously, I don't think there's a job system in this one, so is it just because I've only got, like, 3 characters that I've played as, but they don't really it doesn't say, like, "This guy's the black mage, this one's the warrior," because they're not even mages or anything. The guy's got a gun on his hand. So, is it and the materia thing, like, I can just be like, "This person has cure." So, is there, like, no job system in Final Fantasy 7? Or, like, no classes? Is it just whatever I want it to be?
Yeah, it's pretty much just whatever you want it to be. Like in 7, the
Uh-huh.
materia system is like, yeah, you can make anybody into whatever. Like
That's what I thought.
ev- you can have every single character learn every single black magic
Yeah.
spell and white magic spell, but there's also a lot of other different materias for like summons and other cool attacks and abilities, like being able to like mimic the attacks that enemies do
Yeah.
and the slot machine garbage. But
Yeah, I don't get that at all. Tifa does that when she does her limit break. I don't know what's happening.
yeah, it's the material. It's still kind of fucking cool. I need to replay Final Fantasy. I haven't played 7 in a really long time, but the materia system is pretty cool.
It seems like it has a lot of potential. I'm excited to see more.
Yeah. Going back to the jobs though,
Jobs!
Bravely Def- Jobs Bravely Default has a shit ton of them.
Really? Like, how many?
Oh man. Oh man. I
Let
don't
me
know.
Google it on my phone.
They have really cool jobs like
24 jobs.
holy shit. Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, in the first game, of course everybody starts with freelancer. You get
Yeah.
monk, white mage, black mage, knight, spell fencer. I forgot about that. Bravely Default, I think, did the job system the fucking best. Like it's the best job system in like any game I've ever played. Maybe not so much the first one because the first one had a lot of because so it was basically not like 5 where after battle characters would earn XP and then JP, so
Yeah.
like experience points for their base level, which affected like their
Japanese
base
points.
stats. Yeah, their Japanese points. Yeah, the majority of your stats are heavily affected by your job. So, like, black mages would have much higher magic than, say, a monk or a knight or whatever. But yeah, yeah, after you get to a certain job level, you would learn a different ability for that job. The first game had a lot of really stupid skills that didn't fucking matter, but Bravely Default 2 really kicked that shit into overdrive. And it kind of almost works the same way as Final Fantasy 5, where so like first off, each job has like a cool passive ability.
Do you want me just to list them all? That would be exciting podcasting.
Go ahead, do it.
Black Mage, White. There's an ad. Best Buy. Black Mage, White Mage, Vanguard, Monk, Brave Bearer, Bard, Beastmaster, Gambler, Thief,
Oh
Berserker,
yeah.
Red Mage, Ranger, Shield Master, Pictomancer, Dragoon, Sword Master, Spirit Master, Oracle, Salve Maker, Bastion, Phantom, Arcanist, Hellblade.
Basically, yeah, each job, like the job that you currently have equipped, you'll have its cool little passive ability. Like I think the black mage just specialty is what they're called. Oh yeah, whenever you do the default command, which is like just defending and getting back your brave points or whatever the
Brave.
fuck. Yeah, whenever you do the default command, you recover just like a small portion of MP. Uh, that sounds basic as shit, but they get really more like complex when you get to. But yeah, so you have the black mage equipped. like the black mage job, you would have its like little passive ability or like specialty, and then you could also pick a secondary job, basically just for its commands, like how in Final Fantasy V you could be like a knight but have like white magic. You could be like a sword master who focuses on counterattacking enemy attacks and like drawing aggro and then just blasting them with multiple sword strikes. But you could also have like a defensive class set as your secondary, where you can like nullify the next attack, so you don't take any damage, but then you counterattack and just annihilate them. And yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I love breaking games with or job systems.
That's
It's
so
great.
I'm way into Octopath Traveler 2 right now, and that has a job system as well. And I'm curious to see if you can break it. It sounds so similar. I'm surprised it's not the same developers because so much sounds the same. But I am loving so much of Octopath Traveler 2. It is doing so many fun things that my brain likes. And its job system is one of them. There's only 8 jobs, which makes sense because it's Octopath Traveler. 8. Um, and so everyone has their starting job that you can't change. And then as you find called special places, you can gain a license to do the other job, and you can give that to anyone at any time. So if you find like the scholar license, you can just give it to anyone whenever you want, and they'll be part scholar. And after each battle, you get job points, and you can spend those job points on your job to learn job abilities. But what's cool is they keep those job abilities forever. So even if you switch to a different second job, they keep those abilities that they gained from that other job. So I've got like my starting character who's a warrior. He has a scholar ability, and he also has a hunter ability, maybe? I don't remember. But you can get 4 slots for abilities, so you can mix and match them however you want. It's crazy. It's cool. It just seems like it should be impossible. And I love the battling in Octopath Traveler too. So um each enemy has a little shield symbol with a number by it, which you need to attack their specific weakness that many times to break them. And there are like 8 different weapon types. There's spears and swords and bows and daggers, and each job gives people different starting weapons. But if you give them a second job, they get those starting weapons too. So you can have someone that can use 4 weapons at the same time. And then you can break the enemy, and then you do double damage until the next turn. And so you're like, and you, if you start with battle points, I think they're called. You start with 1, which lets you do 2 attacks per turn. But if you don't use any, then you gain 1 on the next turn. So you can build them up to do multiple attacks. So you can time it out to see what their shield is, and be like, I've got this guy coming up. He's got the spear, so I can just save his spear points to stab 3 times in a row and break him. My brain loves it, Aaron.
I okay, yeah, if you love that game, I feel like you would really like Bravely Default because it's the
Hmm.
same. It
Hmm.
sounds like because they're both made by Square Enix. I don't know if they're made by the same team or
They're
not,
not.
but they have like this. They have, they have like the same systems because Bravely Default, it uses like its namesake in its shit. So you can
Yep.
use brave points to do like multiple. Basically, you can do up to 4 moves in one turn, but at the cost of like having to wait that many turns. Oh wait, no. So you can default, which is like blocking, and you'll rack up brave points, and then you can then use your multiple attacks in one turn. But if you use those attacks without any brave points or whatever, then yeah, you'll be set back at a deficit. That character will have to wait for like 3 turns to be able to do anything, and they'll be totally helpless and get attacked and probably die because that game is actually pretty fucking hard.
I don't like that. I don't like games that are hard.
But once you learn how to break the jobs and like which there are so many cool synergies with all the different jobs in Bravely Default 2. Like one of my fucking favorites was the Shield Master, and there was another. I think it's called Bastion. So the Shield Master, like, doesn't do any damage at all. Its main thing is that it can equip like 2 shields, like 1 shield in each hand to do have like double the defense. It can step in place of allies to take damage, and it's just like the ultimate tank. And when you combine it with there's this skill that the Bastion has that makes it so I think it's like you double your defense for a turn or you do something like that. Basically, you can the more you level up these different jobs and like unlock them and learn about them, you can try, kind of like in your brain mesh together the perfect killer combo, and it's so good. It's so fucking cool, man. Yeah, go check out Bravely Default 2.
I will when I finish Octopath Traveler in a year. Um, hey, Aaron.
Mhm,
Guess
mhm.
so. The developer of Bravely Default and Bravely Default 2. Guess what PlayStation 3 exclusive game they developed?
Bravely Zero.
No, it's unrelated to the Bravely series.
Oh, I don't know.
3D Dot Game Heroes.
Oh yes,
That was
I
them.
don't know what that is.
You'd know it if you saw it.
I'm gonna look it up. 3D
Yeah,
Dot
3D
Heroes.
Dot Game Heroes.
Oh yeah, that's a game.
You don't remember this game?
No, I didn't have a PlayStation 3.
What? Hold on. Hold on.
Did this have a cool mechanic you're trying to bring up?
No, but it's hold on. I just think you'd think it was cool. Okay, go to Google,
Yes.
type in 3D Dot Game Heroes Big Sword, and then go to images.
Oh man, I'm looking it up.
So imagine a Zelda game, but you can make the sword as big as you want.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty fucking cool. Holy shit, that one's
Yeah,
huge!
big swords. I never
Oh
played
my god. This one's
it.
the size of a fucking football field.
Yeah, yeah, and you can swing it around.
What? Okay, that's pretty cool actually.
It's only PS3.
Oh shit. Man,
um,
remake that. Oh. So Steam World Heist 2 has a job system, right?
yeah,
It's
yeah. What the heck?
so
Did the first one have a job system?
no, it was kind of like yeah, each character just had their own baked in class. Like there were characters who were flankers, there were what are the fuck are the names? Snipers, assault, shit like that. And they would just level up and get like kind of character specific perks and shit as they level up, which is kind of cool. But so in SteamWorld Heist 2, there's I think the same number of jobs, but yeah, each character like your character's job will change based on what weapon they have equipped. So like if you equip a shotgun, you're a flanker. If you equip a sniper rifle, you're a sniper, shit like that. And kind of like Final Fantasy V and all those, you can spend cogs to activate abilities from other jobs. So like for a sniper, they have this ability called focus where if you haven't moved for a turn, your next attack will do +1 damage, and you can combine that with the boomer, which just uses a rocket launcher, and so you can just sit there in the same spot over and over, and your attacks will just do more and more damage, and you can just blast enemies away and equip equip like 3 fucking grenades, so you always have more grenades than you ever need. And what is it? There's the Reaper who just does a lot of damage. I kind of forget. I haven't used him a whole lot, but yeah, job
I've
systems are cool.
I've got Steam World Heist downloaded on my Steam Deck.
Yes.
Steam Deck. I think my brain is broken. Does okay? I'm gonna say a game, and you tell me if it has a job system.
Okay.
XCOM,
Kind of.
right?
They have classes. I don't. It's kind of a job system, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah. Okay. College Football 25.
I mean, yeah, I guess. Yeah, you have like what quarterback,
Yeah, and they
linebacker,
have abilities.
ninja. Yeah, they have
Reaper,
abilities.
Boomer.
Shotguns.
I'm just seeing the world in job systems now.
There's the Xenoblade games kind of have that too. More so the third game, but like that job system's kind of a mess because the jobs don't fucking matter. But like in 1 and 2, I don't know about X because like I own it but I haven't played it. But 1 and 2 characters would either be a healer, an attacker, or like a tank. So that's cool.
Do you know the singer Charlie XCX?
gonna Google it. I do not though.
She's a famous pop singer, and one of my favorite tweets I've seen is she posted something and someone commented underneath, "Hello Charlie, do you like Xenoblade Chronicles X? I figured you would since your name is Charlie XCX." They're just asking her questions about it.
Oh no, I don't play video games, but I would assume that would be a good one.
Hi, in Bravely Default, do the jobs affect anything outside of combat?
You know, I don't think they do actually.
Wow. Wow, because in Octopath Traveler 2, they do.
Hey man, I mean Octopath Traveler 2 is newer than Bravely Default 2, so like
Um,
kind of eat
but
it.
it's cool though. It's cool though. Like depending on what your job is, this is only the main job, not the secondary one. You can do stuff to like almost any NPC in the world. And so like the warrior, which is my starting character, you can go up to someone and hit A on them. No, X. And it'll show their difficulty level and what ability they have, which could be like an axe attack or a bow attack that hits all enemies or a flame attack. And you can choose to fight them. Only the warrior can do this. And if you fight them and defeat them, you can learn that ability to put it
Whoa.
into your arsenal, and you can learn up to 6 abilities. So
That's cool.
what I've done with my warrior is he can use swords and spears.
You've just been killing people.
I've been killing people left and right. And I've been taking abilities that he doesn't have. So I can use a bow and arrow. I can use a dagger. I can use a light and dark attack. Or the hunter, I think he's called the hunter. He can catch creatures like in Pokemon. Like any enemy that's an animal he can capture and then have in his little bag and use them in combat. But you can also cook them and turn them into different meats. and, and
Okay,
you
that
can
started off real. That started off like very innocent, like Crocodile Hunter, Steve Irwin kind of shit, but then it turned into like dark.
yeah. And each creature turns into a different type of meat. They don't just turn into meat. Like fish turn into a certain meat. And you can go around and see someone, and you can depending on what meat they like to eat, you can recruit them to join you by feeding them meat from the animals you cooked, and then you can bring them out in battle as well.
What the fuck? Okay,
It's wild.
that's cool.
It's wild. Um But and to make it even crazier, the big difference between Octopath Traveler 1 and 2 is they have a day and night cycle, and your abilities are totally different if it's daytime or if it's nighttime. The warrior at nighttime can bribe people. He can pay them money to get information about them, which might unlock a hidden item or give you a discount at the inn or stuff like that. And you just hit the right trigger and it changes from day to night whenever you want. You can just
Whoa,
switch.
what the fuck?
Yeah, yeah. So you can just go flip flop, day night, and no one cares. Everyone's like, I guess the sun's just going real fast.
Oh, by the way, subclassing, like characters having more than one class, that
Mm-hmm.
shit, I really, really like that. The Etrian Odyssey games do that a lot, where like you start off making your characters as like one class, and you go through their fucking gigantic skill trees, and then halfway through the game they'll be like, "Oop, pick a second class for that character," and you can kind of almost break those two, like find a class that meshes pretty well together with their I I made the mistake of so in my very first party in Nexus, there's this job class whatever called I think it's called the Zodiac, and it's just a black mage. They just cast like fire and like ice, but it's called like Blaze Star and like Ice Star and shit like that. But I made the mistake of combining the Zodiac with a farmer,
Oh,
and the farmer just occasionally does like status ailments, like you'll occasionally make the enemy fall asleep, or like you can gather more at gather points so you can get more wood, I guess. Other than that, one mishap, subclasses are cool.
yeah, absolutely. My favorite quarterback subclass is the one that can scramble, because I'm always one that wants to escape the pocket. So if I'm not a fan of pocket passers just because they're more likely to get tackled.
Hell yeah. My you know what, I think it is about time for an ad break. Do you wanna take a quick ad break?
Yeah, sure. I'll come
Okay.
back later.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, let them know. We'll be right back. Let the listeners know.
We'll be right back, listeners.
Let's take a minute to thank the real sponsors of SuperPod Saga, the real MVPs, the real stars of the show, the official superstars, I guess, the patrons. Each and every one of you is a superhero, and I really mean that. It means just the world to me. But yeah, thank you a lot. It's so cool, so awesome. Let's thank all of them. Let's go. A Novel Console, Jared Schrader, Jameson Empire, Adam Phineas, Trey, Adam Forrester, Jeff Miners, Jenny E, Kevin Demo, Thrack, Mr. Kwong, Matt aka Stormageddon. Every single one of you are just the best. I'm giving you a big, huge salute right now. You can't see it because I'm a dingus, but yeah, thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed the bonus content. If anybody out there listening to this wants to subscribe to the Patreon and get some cool bonus content, help out the show, help me, help Jerry, whoever, there's a link in the episode description, or just go to patreon.com/superpodsaga. It's all there. There's 2 tiers, $4 a month. All of you guys, thank you so much, and hope you enjoy the rest of the episode. If you're a fan of coffee and you're looking for something different, I think we've got just the thing for you. That's Bones Coffee. Bones Coffee is not your usual coffee company. Of course, it's all sugar-free, gluten-free, all that stuff, because it's just coffee, nothing added to it. But they roast each batch of coffee beans to your order, and they've got just a bazillion different flavors to choose from. They've got your usual French vanilla, salted caramel, they've got Irish cream, of course they've got decaf, single origin coffees like Kenya, Guatemala, stuff like that, even what they call high voltage, which is extra strength, extra caffeine. But they have all sorts of other awesome kind of out of the box flavors. They've got ones like cotton candy, maple bacon, and even mint chocolate chip ice cream. And they're always coming up with new crossover flavors, like they've done a bunch for Nightmare Before Christmas, Indiana Jones, even Spider-Man, of all things. And they're also coming up with new seasonal flavors all the time. If this sounds right up your alley, feel free to use the link in our episode description and use coupon code SuperPodSaga at checkout to get 20% off your order. That's SuperPodSaga at checkout to get 20% off your order. And if you're not just in the market for coffee, you can also get some sweet mugs. They've got lots of cool shirts. They've got all sorts of different brewing equipment like French presses, stuff like that. Just head on over to bonescoffee.com, or again, use the link in our episode description and get 20% off. Get yourself a new interesting flavor and spice up your morning routine with Bones Coffee. I really hope you enjoy. I'm a really big fan of it, and I hope you find one that really hooks you. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good one.
Hey, today's episode is brought to you by Daryl's Permanent Sunglasses. Have you ever... Have you ever needed sunglasses, but like you're just so sick of taking them off and losing them? Because that's what I do. I take my sunglasses off and I just throw them to my right side. I don't look at where I throw them, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, where did they go? So Daryl's Permanent Sunglasses, he takes the ear parts off of them, and so you just put it on your face, and you can either, there's 2 different packages. There's the staple package and the tape package. The tape package is easier, where you just duct tapes it onto your face. But the staple package is gonna stick them to your head more permanent. Could you see using this product, Aaron?
You know, I actually could. So, okay, I wear glasses because my eyes are pieces of shit. I'm very nearsighted, and so when we go swimming, I have these sunglasses, like little sunglass frames that like magnetically attach to my glasses. So if we go swimming and it's bright, but I still want to be able to see, God forbid, I have to put those on. But God forbid I fall underwater for like a second, my glasses fall off, those frames fall off. So yeah, actually, I could use the staple package. No
Yeah,
more having to worry about dropping my glasses because they're attached to my face.
you can just put them under your glasses too and staple them, so you can still take your glasses off. Actually, this just in, they also have a welder's pack where you can get those welder's shields duct taped to your eyes,
Ooh.
so that you don't have to flip the thing back and forth. You just have that on permanent.
Ooh, you know what? Beep, 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 beep. This just in, Tommy.
Yeah.
Here's a new package for you. They have this
I
new
love
one
new
where
packages.
you can actually there's extra frames you can put on top, like those clip-on sunglasses for like glasses where you like flip them up and the frames just like stay there up on your dumb face. You can flip them up, and then it's just an extra set of eyes, kind of, or like cameras, or you can make them into whatever you want. So you can have like, you flip them up and like boom, there's your sunglasses. Flip them up again, boom, there's like your blue light glasses. Flip them up again, boom, reading glasses. You got this like key ring of
infinite
kinds
glasses.
You're just like, oh, let me.
You flip them all down and look at the sun, and you are done. You are instantly dead. Do not do that.
The sun rays are just so concentrated. It's like that melting Nazi from Indiana Jones. You're like, oh.
No, it's just instant. You just look up and fall to the ground.
You just get poisoned by it, just like a poison Pokemon, or no, a fairy type, whatever. What's here's another cool one for you. They also just came out with this cool package where so it's the glasses, right, that are attached to your face, but they also have like the fake nose and fake mustache.
Yes.
So it's just constantly stuck to your face. Yeah, if you can't grow a mustache, there you go. There's your solution.
Duct taped onto your face.
Yeah, don't please.
And Daryl is a great guy. He's not creepy. He's a little hairy, but that we don't judge him for it.
Yeah, he's just trying to help. This is a good solution. I'd like to see you come up with a better solution than Daryl.
No one else has a basket of broken sunglasses like he does.
Hey, Daryl, do you got a pair of policeman aviators in there? And he's just like,
boy, do I.
Maybe. And he's just
he like actually has 20 of them.
Just digging through this wicker basket for like 16 minutes. I've got one, but one of the lenses is lost. It's like, I'll take it. But rather have one eye protected than none.
Oh,
so you gotta, like,
the
constantly...
eye patch. He's got the eye patch, but it doesn't have the wraparound, so you just have to staple it.
Oh, that's good. Oh my god, yes. So, I mean, it's just like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where that one, I said the one McPoyle brother loses an eye, so he gets an eye patch, but it's like flesh colored and he paints an eyeball on it. You could do that if you lose an eye, and then paints an eyeball on it.
Daryl would love to help you.
Daryl's a great guy.
Thanks, Daryl. Hey, we're back, and my wife is on her way home from her date, so we gotta talk about video games. Also, her boss is a woman, and they're just friends. They're really good friends. I make that clear.
Okay.
People were calling in.
Yeah, people, they're really concerned for your well-being. What other points did you have jotted down, or things you had?
Tales of Arise. Aaron, have you ever played a JRPG with live combat, not turn-based?
I have. I've played other Tales games. Tales of Symphonia, Tales of Vesperia. They use... it's maybe not the exact same, but like it's
I thought I'd hate
a fighting game.
I don't like live action combat. I don't like Devil May Cry combat, or just like hack and slash stuff. I don't get any enjoyment out of that. So I didn't think I would like Tales of Arise, and I loved the combat. So let me explain it to you. Sit down, everyone. Grab a seat.
Yeah, kick your shoes off. Stay a while, listeners.
So Tales of Arise. So everyone has a basic attack, which is just like an attack where you swing your sword, right? And you got a little stamina gauge. So like you can't just swing over and over again. Eventually your stamina gauge runs out and you gotta wait for it to come back. And then you have arts with an E, ARTES.
Oh, yeah.
Those are like special abilities. Those charge on a little meter as well. And so you can unleash those whenever you want, which is just like if you're the sword guy, you can like launch the enemy up in the air, or you can slam down on them, or you can do a quick dodge or whatever. It's lots of stuff. And then there's like a super duper special ability, which I don't remember what it was called, but that's where you combine your abilities with another person. It does like a ton of damage. Um, and so how the combat works as you're attacking an enemy, they have a little meter that is getting filled as you're doing damage. If enough time passes where you don't do damage, the meter resets. And what you need to try to do is to continue to do the attacks in such a way that the meter fills, because then when you do the super special ability with a partner, it's an instant kill. It's an automatic kill. So, but everything
Whoa.
has cooldowns. Even your basic attack has cooldowns, and the special abilities have cooldowns. So you need to like time your attacks with the special attacks, and you can also switch between. There's four characters all at the same time. You're only controlling one. You can swap between them at any time. You can use someone's special ability even when you're one person. You can just hit on the D-pad and use their special ability, or you can swap. So it's a lot of swapping and watching meters to try and fill that meter to time your special ability to do the one hit KO. There was one enemy late in the game where like none of our attacks were doing any damage. It was just like pixels moving from its thing. Because the whole point was to build that meter up so that you could do the super special ability. And it was a really tough, unique thing. It wasn't just like attack the enemy until the health is gone. Keep doing the attacks and special abilities. It was like I have to manage my meters. I have to manage my cooldowns and make sure that I don't get hit by attacks, because that's going to make it so I can't attack. It was a really fun combat system that I really, really enjoyed, and I never thought I would have.
Boy, do I have a recommendation for you, Tommy. This is basically just
Sonic
like
Spinball?
yeah, no, Metroid Pinball, uh, or Metroid Prime Pinball, whatever. But okay, so there's this game called Valkyrie Profile,
Valkyrie
and
Profile?
yeah, so the
Is that
combat,
right?
yeah, yes, that's the game. Uh, so yeah, the in combat, basically you have so there's four party members, and you have each party member tied to like a face button, like triangle, circle, square, X, and in combat, you basically time each character's attacks together to to make this massive combo. Like say your circle character does a fire spell and it launches the enemy in the air. Then you have your X character guy come in and do like two or three slashes on the enemy in the air. Then at the same time, you have like your bow dude shoot some arrows. Basically, just stack and combo attacks, keep the enemy juggled and going, and you build up this meter on the bottom of the screen. And then once that fills up, you can do a super move, which in the Valkyrie Profile, it doesn't always insta kill. It just does a shit ton of damage, and you get more rewards. But they'll do like these cool fucking anime attacks, like
Yeah.
the main character, hers like it's all based on Norse mythology. So like the main character does what's called it's like Nibelung Valesti, and it's just this huge fucking ray, and like it's wild, man. It's yeah, Valkyrie Profile has something kind of like that, and it's awesome. And it's same for what is it called? Project X Zone. It's like
Oh, this is that one. That weird one.
yeah, yeah, they're both on 3DS. They're like tactical RPGs, but once you get into combat, it's like a fighting game. You have tag team of like two characters, I believe, like two or three, I forget. But yeah, you'll just basically combo and juggle the enemies as much as possible, and then yeah, you again build up a meter, do a cool screen clearing super move, and then maybe they're dead, maybe they're not. Yeah,
That was
those kinds
a
of yeah.
that was the thing I forgot to mention with and that does sound amazing. That sounds right up my alley if I liked Tales of Arise. But I forgot to say Tales of Arise, like the combat, if you're not playing and just watching it, it is nonsense. It is nothing but flashing magic, swords flying everywhere. Like I'll hit a button and a 3 second cutscene will start where someone's like, I'm gonna do some damage, and then a giant beam shoots forth out of their gun. And it's just people
A
yelling
bolt.
constantly. I didn't know I would love it so much.
You definitely need to play other Tales games, man. I think I don't I know Tales of Vesperia is for sure on Xbox. I don't know if like if it's as free form as Tales of Arise, because I think up until like a certain game they were mostly 2D, but yeah, it's a lot of the same shit. Like you can control different characters, and yeah, you can stack moves, or like yeah, your healer will be like, I'm gonna heal, and then like
Gonna-
3 minutes later, after their cool like charge up animation, they'll be like first aid, and then you'll heal 10 HP.
Aaron, has there
Yes.
has there ever been a JRPG mechanic that was too complex for you?
Dude, okay. So, yeah, I don't know if you listened to the Final Fantasy episode, but Final Fantasy 8 has what's called this junction system, and I can't even like begin to comprehend this fucking system. So basically, in Final Fantasy 8, there are these guardian forces, which are basically just like summons from other games like Ifrit, Shiva, Quetzalcoatl, and all sorts of shit like that. But basically, you can assign a guardian force to a character, and based on what stat you assign them to on that character or something, the character will grow a certain way, or like I don't know, man. It's that shit's way too confusing for me. I still don't understand how the junction system works at all. I've like the game does have a tutorial and tries to teach you how to use it, but I'm too like pea brained to understand.
I have a similar story.
Yes.
So way back when I was a child, I was a little boy, tiny boy, in the 90s. Um, we took a trip to the Lamar's Walmart because it was the superstore. This was before Sioux Center was even a super center.
Okay.
Um, and I was like, I want to get a Final Fantasy. Everyone keeps talking about Final Fantasy. I'm gonna get one. So I was looking up at the case, scoping it out. The only one they had was one called Final Fantasy Tactics. And
Ooh, okay.
I was like, that's not a numbered one. I don't know what this is. I genuinely don't know what this is because there was no internet back then. It was just video game magazine. But it had the greatest hits thing on the side. And I told
Yeah.
myself, I was like, that means it's good. If it's got that, then means it's good. It's a Final Fantasy. I'll get it. And so I went, Mom, Mom, and I pointed at it. And so she bought it for me.
Mom, mommy, please.
And so on the car ride home, obviously I open it up and I'm reading the manual. And the whole car ride home, I'm like, uh-oh, I think I made a mistake. I'm just reading all this stuff and none of it makes any sense to me. Nothing is making any sense. And I try playing the game and I don't know what I'm doing. I don't understand anything. And I stopped playing almost immediately. And I was so sad because that was like my one game for 3 months. You can't just go around buying games as a kid.
Fuck.
I didn't even know what a tactics game was.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what
Yeah,
a
that's
Final Fantasy game was.
not my Final Fantasy. Yeah, there's what is it? There's this one game on the 360 called The Last Remnant, and what was it when I got my very first 360 for my like birthday or Christmas or something? That came with Lego Indiana Jones and Kung Fu Panda, and I think I was like 16 at the time. I was like, fuck that garbage. I don't want any of that.
Hmm.
And when got The Last Remnant, because I was like, ooh, cool RPG Japan. And that shit is just so complicated. It's like you have groups of like 5 characters, and it's like a tactics RPG, but it's not. I don't know. That shit's complicated.
What's the special thing with Final Fantasy 9? Because I don't remember any complex mechanics from it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good one. So the way your characters, I guess, progress and learn new moves in Final Fantasy 9 is I don't know what like the fuck the name it for is for it, but like different pieces of gear will have different abilities that either all characters can learn or like only certain characters can learn. Like for example, only Vivi can equip staves, so
Yeah,
only he can equip those, and only he can learn like Blizzaga and shit like
yeah.
that. Sometimes you'll come across maybe like an accessory or like a piece of armor that might have a black magic spell like slow or something, and only he can learn that. But there might be other abilities that other characters can learn as well too. So sometimes you'll have to like pass around a piece of equipment, have every character learn that ability from it, because there's a lot of really helpful shit that you get from those. Like they have this skills system, I guess, where each skill when equipped takes up a certain number of skill points. So like there's a skill for nullifying poison, or a skill for like making it so steel does damage when you try to steal from an enemy, and you'll learn those from the, like, gear and equipment and shit as well too. But
So you're telling me like the armor had abilities tied to it?
yes, but your characters can learn like those abilities after like, oh, what's this? There's some points they'll learn after battle. I think it's just SP for skill points. After battle, they'll earn SP, and eventually they'll learn the ability that's on that piece of gear.
I don't know if I did any of that.
Another cool thing too
None of
is
that sounds familiar.
there's also the synthesis system where basically you really kind of don't want to sell your old gear because you can synthesize it with other old gear to make better gear, and that's really cool. Like
Oh my gosh.
what is it, like, kind of early on ish in the game, if you steal from one of the bosses, you can get this really powerful dagger early on, and then you can combine it with another piece of shit dagger to make the butterfly sword or something. um, that's really cool. I think that's really cool.
I think I missed out on those mechanics entirely because I have no memories of doing any of that. Do you think it's possible that I still made it really far in the game without knowing what I was doing?
Possibly. I mean, they must have learned something. Here's another good one.
Okay.
One really, really cool mechanic that I only see in Earthbound, I have never seen in any other JRPG, is like when your characters get to a certain level to where like yeah, they get to a certain level and you run into an enemy on the overfield, because in Earthbound there's no random encounters, it's all just enemies on the
Really?
world, you run into them and start a battle. When they get to a certain level and you run into an enemy, if the enemy is just way too weak to where it doesn't matter, the game won't even bother with
I
making you
love
fight
that.
them.
I love that.
Yeah, the screen will just flash. It'll be like, you win. And then you get like a minuscule amount of XP because, I mean, yeah, who gives a shit? But that is, I fucking love that. I wish more games did
Speaking
that.
of being a dumb kid, the very first time I played Earthbound and it went into a battle where it's just the screen with the enemy on it, right?
Yeah.
Menu. I thought the game was broken. I thought something was wrong. I was like, why? This is the battle screen. I was like, this is dumb. And then I stopped playing. I immediately turned it off forever.
Have you, I'm just going to lob it out here. Have you ever played any of the Mana games? Like Secret of Mana, Trials of Mana, any of those?
I I I have the first one. The first one was Super Nintendo, right?
Yeah. Or Secret of Mana.
Yeah, I have that downloaded on my Anbernic. My coworker says it's his favorite game of all time. So
Yeah,
I
that
will be playing it eventually.
I'll agree with him, man. There's a couple of really cool things that I like from that game. First off, the combat is real time ish,
Mhm,
kind
mhm.
of. Like, yeah, you just run around, and your main dude cannot use magic, but
Just
he
like
levels
me.
up weapons. Yeah, he levels up weapons way quicker, and he can use any kind of weapon. But then you have like the one character who can use offensive magic, and then there's another character who can only use like healing and support magic. But another cool thing I like is that, like, in combat in real time, you can pause it and open up the ring menu, then cycle through like spells and equipment and shit like that. And I think it was your spells. Yeah, your spells. They only level up or increase or whatever the more you use them. So the more you use certain spells, they'll kind of evolve and power up. And I thought that was pretty cool. I think I remember texting you about that like a long time ago, being like, "Tommy, this is the greatest video game ever."
Yeah. That has a there's like a stamina thing with your attacks too, right? Where it does less
Yeah.
damage the more. Did not know I remember you unlocked a memory of me playing it on the Super Nintendo Mini, and I didn't know that was a mechanic, so I was just swinging over and over again, just doing one damage over and over again. I didn't understand what was happening. Turned it off, never played it again.
You can also charge your attacks too, and I always forget about that. I always forget about that shit.
Is Yakuza a JRPG?
I guess now it is. I mean, before it was like more of a beat 'em up, but like
True.
with Yakuza 7, yeah, it's definitely, and it's got a job system. So
It does. It
that's
does have
cool.
a does have a
Yeah.
system. I need to play that
Oh,
one.
oh man, the jobs are so cool. So it's like, instead of being, like thief, mage warrior and shit like that. You instead have like what is it? There's like homeless guy, there's like riot officer, chef, bottle service girl or something like that. And then yeah, the jobs are really cool. Characters learn all sorts of cool abilities. Yeah, man, you need to play Yakuza 7.
I
It's
do, I
awesome.
really do. After I play, after I finish Octopath Traveler 2, and after I finish Bravely Default 2, I'll go to.
Did you have any other cool shit? Jot it down.
No. I'm new to the JRPGs.
Okay.
And I'm really loving them. I love the mechanics. I just wish they weren't so long.
Yeah, I feel you, man. There are some short ones though. Like if you ever get the chance, Golden Sun is only like maybe 30 hours, maybe
I
less
can
than
play
that.
that on the Anbrane.
Yeah, dude. Hell
Uh-huh.
yeah. The second one is like a little bit longer. What's another short one?
I thought Golden Sun was the one where you hold it up to the sun to do stuff. That's a different.
Yeah, that's Boktai or
That's it,
Botkai
yep,
or some shit
yep.
like that. Yeah. All right, listeners. Well, that's it. That's the end of the show for now. Tommy, do you wanna plug your stuff once more for
Hey,
people? Or
go check out Tommy's video game ride along. Learn about games journalism. Take a seat in the passenger seat.
take a wild ride. That's a different That's a Steve-O podcast. Well, yeah, listeners, thank you so much for listening. Support the show on Patreon, $2-4 a month. Leave a rating or review, whatever you're listening on. SuperPodNetwork.com. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye.